All right, and Big Brother specialists are live. We are talking our top 5 favorite seasons today. Blake, how you doing?
There's 5 of them. It's crazy. It's one of those things where it's in like, is it hard to pick? Does it change every day? Is it something where you're like, I do have a favorite that's sneaking into the top 5 that people are going to give me shit for? All
Mhm.
those are true. I think there's a mix in mine of, oh, that makes sense. Just like I think with Survivor, I probably rank stuff that I watched as a 15-year-old higher than stuff that I watch as a 25-year-old, et cetera, et cetera. There's some nostalgia bias instead of recency bias for Big Brother. And like, I think when you're watching True Love prevail the first time, it's a lot cooler than True Love prevailing the fifth time. Maybe,
Mhm.
maybe your favorite love stories are the first one you ever saw. So I think that makes sense for a Big Brother season of like, which one did you see early on? Which one was good early on? And then there's one that I'm leaving off just because I didn't watch it live because Big Brother 10 happened when I was in college, so I missed all of it. Like
Mhm.
I was aware of a YouTube where we could watch Keisha's birthday, but that will be the glaring omission of mine because I was not watching it live.
Mhm.
So you go ahead, you do one first.
Um, my glaring omissions are I've seen like 5 seasons and then 2
Hell
of
yeah.
them are 19 and 21. So I am coming
The best ones. Yeah.
at this with a severe disadvantage. So I don't claim to be a Big Brother. Well, I guess I claim to be a Big Brother specialist. Great. But
Specialist in training,
yeah,
specialist for
yeah.
now, or a specialist in the future. I think we could figure that out over the next couple
Mhm.
months. I like that. Subplot.
So so I'm gonna start with my number 5. And just for the fact that I have not seen the season in full, but really like the recap that I did, that I watched because you have it on your list, I'm going Big Brother 6.
Nice.
It
Great.
yeah, I know.
Great
Like
start.
it was an interesting game with the twists of secret duos. And we'll get like I guess more into it when we talk about how great it is because it's higher on your list. But I like the secret duos aspect of it and just watching the game play out on the like recap that I watched was really like I mean Janelle's a beast and I knew that.
I think we were gonna stick to some structure, but we might as well just screw it up. Big Brother 6 is my favorite
Okay.
season of all time. It was gonna be my number one, and there's gonna be no suspense of disbelief for the rest of the time. But Big Brother 6 was amazing. I
Mhm.
think it was our first time where it was like clear two sides are going back and forth every time. You have our favorites of all time, Kaser and Janelle. What up, Kaser? What up, Kaser? All those people came back for Big Brother 7. Spoilers, that's going to be a good one too. Like, these are people that were equal parts, like, they shouldn't be friends, but the Big Brother house thrust them together. Howie's
Mhm.
a weirdo, but he's our lovable weirdo. And then the friendship is just an evil alliance where they're so mean. And when you look at it back now, you're like, 20 years later, could I be on the popular kid side with Janelle and Kaser and what's his face Howie again? Yes, I could. Like the friendship is bad. We call them the friendship. We call them the nerd herd. That was all super fun stuff to do whenever I was around in 2006, and it was stuff where it's like James is in the middle. And I think
Mhm.
that season is not nearly as good if James doesn't exist because he's ratting out both sides all the time. Everyone knows he's doing that. Nobody has any recourse to him. His partner kind of ruins up everything for the Sovs. We don't call them Sovs. I call them Kaser and Janelle. Um, and and like I think it's something where James being so good at competitions was an interesting level of
Mhm.
we want to get him out because he keeps
But we
ratting us
can't.
out, but we literally can't because he keeps winning vetoes.
Mhm.
all of these storylines pay off again in Big Brother 7 a summer later, which is super cool. I think one thing maybe that somebody wouldn't be aware of is like the gold room of like trying to figure out what's in the gold room
Mhm.
is probably one of the coolest subplots that isn't related to characters of like, ooh, if we put this combination together and do this, what happens in there? I think what's super cool too is we have so many it's my number one, so I'm gonna go a little longer. But like it's like the idea of I sealed your partner's fate is an amazing thing. I think there's the idea of all those taglines that came out of that are stuff. Give me the key, bitch. Like all that stuff is something that is still good 20 years later. And if there was a Big Brother 26, it literally is right now, I guess. But like, bring it, just bring that same cast back and let them play again. Obviously, that would never fly, but it's so fun to see like some of those people go crazy over Cappy going home and like, oh no, and it's just all of that is still good to this day. And like the competitions are more simple than they are now, of like something as simple as we're going to go back in the backyard and put candies in people's jars. If you get too many candy, you go home or you're eliminated, is something where
Mhm.
it's like that cast is so dynamic they could make paint competition go well. Obviously pressure cooker is the clear coolest thing ever. Of Kaser came back. It's his time. But we know we love Kaser so much, but he's so bad at the game. You need to not trust Jennifer. Jennifer. Can't say all the names we called her on Survivor sucks because they're bad, but they're literally stuck in my head forever. But it's like she's going to screw you over. But Kaser is so bad at the game, but we love him so much that he doesn't know that. She wins a pressure cooker and sends him right out afterwards. And that's where the give me that key bitch comes from of we're gonna avenge Kaser. Her jumping in the backyard into Howie's arms, I think is the epitome of why Big Brother is good, because when you get screwed over or when your ally goes home, put up or shut up, win that HOH and send him home next week is something that just doesn't exist in TV besides Big Brother.
What I found interesting with season 6 is also between who won HOH between the sides of the house. Like there was never like one dominant run really of HOHs from one side of Janelle and Kaser slash Sovereign Six and the friendship. Like
I mean that was the
they
best
kind of
part. Yeah.
always were jumping back and forth a little bit.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think
Um,
when it comes to
and
like
then my
winner,
last note on, am I really delayed?
I one of us is really delayed. I don't know if it's me or you, because you're like swimming on my side, but like I think I don't know how to fix it though. Phil, help
And
us.
it's me. It's me.
um the one thing that I think is pretty cool about the season 2 is the winner is somebody that I think could play Big Brother 15 times and probably win 9 of them. Maggie was just so dominant of I have my minions, they're all on my side, they're all in drinking Kool-Aid or whatever we want to say that isn't too crazy, and Maggie wins. And I don't even know if it's really close. It's not like we're going to remember every detail of 700 Big Brother seasons, but like Maggie winning is like that's who you want to base your game on. You don't want to go in and play a Janelle game because Janelle has never won. But if you want to win a Big Brother season and you're going this summer, I would just watch what Maggie does and do everything she does.
Yeah, exactly. Really fun recap to watch, and part of this, I part of it.
Nice. Fell down the rabbit hole says, I think Maggie won 4-3. Okay, what's our next
I
season?
think I'm gonna attempt to leave the studio and come back in to see if it works better with my Wi-Fi.
Okay. While she's doing that, let's go ahead and go to my next one. We might as well just do Big Brother 7 right afterwards. Big Brother 7 was all stars, and it ended up being a lot of people from Big Brother 6, and then a few people from that were either aligned with them or not, and then Chilltown. I think Big Brother 7 was amazing because it was like, here's the storylines from last time. Here's a twist of like, can Will do it again? He's the only winner that gets back in the house because nobody else. No. Yeah, and he's the only winner back. Dr. Will is by far the most interesting dude in America when it comes to Big Brother, in my opinion. Of like, when you're ranking winners, there's not a more exciting or like fun winner to watch. I think, yes, he lost that season, got fourth place, but him, when you're watching it live in 2007 and you're just like, how are they not going after Dr. Will? And he gets up and says, you guys are the dumbest people alive. If you don't vote me out this week, you're absolutely freaking stupid. And then he still sticks around. They vote out some people, like the pre-jury, whoever Will stayed against. I think this is stuff where it's like, gosh, you should know this, but like, we're getting to be 30 something years old. There's no way. This is so long ago. But like, who did Will stay against? It was like not great players, not anybody that won. And it was like, well, his target's too big. He'll go
He stayed against
eventually.
Jace.
Yeah, like, oh, Jace is not a fun person to be around, but it's like Jace is never gonna win the season. Like, if you if you want to win Big Brother, start living with Jace for another month. Like, who cares? You'll beat Jace. You won't beat Dr. Will in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Other things that were funny was like Chicken George is a misplaced dude who's like, I'm just trying to have fun. And like, it's such a tragic story to see Chicken George go from like, hey guys, how's everybody going? To like, shut up, Chicken George. Like, and then Boogie wins the coup d'etat halfway through and threatens Chicken George on a live episode of like, do you really want to do this? And Chicken George like balks, BALKS, not BLCKS, different kind of chicken term, and doesn't go after Chilltown because the threat of the coup d'etat. That's super interesting. We get James yelling, Jamie harmed me or whatever. Janie harmed me. We get all the like Kaser misses jury again because he's so bad at the game. Like, Janelle wins HOHs without trying. It's balancing all this. There's a showmance where you're like, should I root for this or not? Marcellus is somebody that I've always loved. We're going to talk about him a little bit later too. Like, I definitely agree with what somebody's saying in the chat. Of Big Brother 7 is by far the best all-star cast that's been around since like Survivor nailed it with Heroes versus Villains. I believe Big Brother 7 is by far the best all-stars or half all-stars from like Big Brother at any time, like even counting Canada, of like they did a half season of all-stars but not all the way. What do you think about Big Brother all-stars?
Again, have not seen it, but I watched the recap. I've just felt like it was a bit insane that Chilltown was constantly on the block or like constantly in deep shit. And then they're just like, all right, so we're in the final four with buddies that won't take us out. Well, until they got smart a little bit. But to have like each of them have someone that are coupling up with them, and they took out pretty much all of season 6, which was a huge alliance. I just, the fact that they got as far as they did and Boogie won was just crazy.
I think another thing that will be a through line of this is Boogie's veto win. Of they don't Chilltown doesn't win that many competitions, but Boogie had to win a veto where it was like closing your eyes or like at nighttime with like electric chairs around, and he kicks the goggles at the end when he wins and like slices his foot open. But like him winning that veto, saving him from clear eviction before jury. I think that's probably the one that like messes up. Maybe it's the one Kaser goes home on. Well, I don't think I'm gonna refresh 900 episodes of Knowledge. I think we're just gonna old man through most of this when we talk. Like, I think that'll be nice about the new season. I can remember at least a week or month, two at a time. But like when he wins that veto and basically saves his ass from certain eviction, that's another one of those moments where it's like, yeah, like all the
Yeah.
Chilltown fans at home are screaming. And like, I think that was a time too where Chilltown are doing these amazing confessionals where it's bring, 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 bring. And like they're just talking to each other. It's the only time they really had somebody duo confessionals the whole time. I can't imagine being in that house and being like, why are Boogie and Dr. Will doing a confessional together and not being like, we should immediately vote them out because they're definitely making fun of us. But it's something where it's like, Chilltown is sick. And God, what was their tagline? I'm gonna screw this up because it's "What up, Kaser?" I thought there was no Chilltown. Like that. Mike Boogie in the building breaks foot. That there's the moment. David's an OG. Love this, David. I thought there was no Chilltown. I remember being 17 years old, just saying that shit to anybody that would listen, and then be like, "Who? What are you talking about?" And be like, "What up, Case?" It was great.
That's insane. Well, to keep Chilltown going, my number 4 is gonna be Big Brother 2. I'm a big fan of Borneo, so
Okay.
I feel like this is again, we're pulling from limited seasons, and I really like Dr. Will, and he just again, like he did in 7, is just like, "Vote me out. You should vote me out, otherwise I'm gonna win." He pulls the same shit in 7 that he did in 2, and he was the clear, like, on the block all the time, and whoever was next to him always went home. And then it was just an insane run that he had
He
throughout
never
the
won a competition that whole time. There's
No.
no vetoes.
Right.
And like if you're trying to replicate Dr. Will's game, you go home in week 2 now. Like
Mhm.
it sucks that the game has evolved maybe in that way of you can't be in your face and whatever. Like I think an example of that is like Devin from Big Brother 16. I'm
Which
not
we'll
saying he
get
tried to
to.
replicate Dr. Will, but like him trying to be that. Just go home, Devin. Get out of here. Like we hate this. Um, it's so funny too of like when you're talking about a season that was in that year 2001, they have so many cultural moments where you're like, we're doing a toothbrush in the toilet, and this is the first time anybody has seen something as crazy as this. Of like, why are they allowing this to happen? This is crazy TV. I don't know if my kids can watch this. We have, hey, by the way, 9/11 happened. We have to tell our cast members.
Mhm.
Crazy moment with that of the final three hears about that, and Monica knows about her. I think it's her cousin, and that was just like not amazing, but like a moment
Mhm.
where you're like, holy shit, like this is crazy TV. And then I think the other thing that's hilarious is like in the same week, there's a moment of Dr. Will's in the hot tub with Nicole and being like, is it inappropriate for her and her husband? There's the plane riding over of I know what you did. The knife incident. Yes, don't forget about the knife incident with they got him out immediately. Like,
I think
I
he
don't
was
know.
ejected.
Yeah, they got him out. No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought
No,
you meant they voted
production.
I was like, "I'm
Production
pretty
got
sure
him
he's
out.
ejected."
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
that guy's name? Justin Ebbing or something? I wonder what he's up to right now.
Probably not much. And then we also had, the survivors, come and bust in on Big Brother as
Oh
well.
my
We had, like,
goodness.
Alicia, Jervis, and 2 others, I think.
Alicia Jervis and two others. Some of the best some of the best Survivor
I
people.
haven't seen this season in years, so I don't remember.
Would you be mad if I killed you? I don't even think we could say that on YouTube. That's
I know,
terrifying.
that's terrible. I'm not
Um,
highlighting that comment.
I think another layer about what Big Brother 2 happened, Justin said it. I don't know who I'm trying to remember then.
Oops, who was
I
there?
I love these people just telling us what we're missing. Keep this up.
Oh, we don't have to
Um,
mention that last one.
oh, true. Never mind. I guess I did remember that JV guy. Um, I think one thing about this that was crazy too. This is the best boot order ever. Like it could not have gone better. I don't think I would move one around. I think losing Shannon and Poogie in the pre-merge makes Dr. Will so much better. I think Dr. Will would be a very annoying person to watch if he had power the whole time. I think he knows that. I think that's part of his allure is like playing from the bottom. Like I think as somebody who's played a lot of online reality games, I'm way better as an underdog where I can like, can you help me out here? Instead of like being the head honcho being like, you're going home. Like I can't play like that. It's not, it
Mhm.
doesn't work for me. So I think the boot order of like Autumn going home, like they get rid of a lot of girls early on, but then it's like Nicole and the boys. Like I think another thing is Hardy is so hot. That was a layer where you're like, how is Dr. Will not the hottest person in his cast? And it's like, well, pretty easily as soon as you see Hardy. And I
And
think
then didn't,
just
like,
as
halfway through Hardy dye his hair black or something in the middle of Big Brother?
it was hot, yeah. And then Bunky, don't forget Bunky. Just as
Can't
much as
forget.
we had Rich on Survivor, Bunky is
Mhm.
the first gay person maybe some people are talking to. The first, I don't know if we'd call him a bear in 2001 standards, but like this is a different kind of gay guy on TV. He's still maybe effeminate, but like I'm
Yeah.
bald and I've got gray hair everywhere. And you're like, okay,
Mhm.
cool. Kent Blackwelder. Like, I think what's super funny, I don't know if this makes sense for anyone else. I did Survivor Sucks forever. Like, I remember these people so much by like their first name and last name. And like Kent Blackwelder, I can't say like Kent without Blackwelder because it's like
Mhm.
that's how it works. Mike Boogie Malin or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
as I forget all the rest of them, but that's just how that works in my head. I think luxury competitions were super cool back then too. Of there's a ginormous thing of peanut butter. Why
Yep.
is he kicking this around the yard?
That and
Um,
then, what, tossing CDs into a floating bowl in the pool so you can get
yes,
your own CD.
yes. So that's Big Brother 2. Great
Mhm.
pick. That's your what number?
4.
Okay. Um, did you already say Big? No, you
I
said
did
Big Brother.
I did 6 and 4, which is my 5 and 4. Or 6 and 2, which is my 5 and 4.
Okay, so I've done my.
Have you
Should we
gone in
stay
reverse?
old? We do at least one new school so they know what we're talking about. Or I should do my 5 since I haven't.
Okay.
Anyway, another season I like kind of just kidding. My fifth place one is Big Brother 11. And you may say, well, didn't you just say you had a blind spot on 10? Why do you know about 11?
Mm.
11, I was watching at summer school with my friends, and it was crazy because it was like, here's four people that are coming back to be coaches. That didn't make a lick of sense. I was like, who are okay?
Mhm.
Okay. Jesse and Brian are from last season, but Jessica was somebody I liked on Big Brother 8. And then I don't remember the last one,
It
but
was
it was
Nokomis's brother or something like that?
oh,
Like,
Cowboy, yeah.
bigger
It's
brother?
I forget about Cowboy. Like, it was just so funny. Of like, okay, we're doing clicks, which is the first time it's kind of a team based in Big Brother. Which I think anytime they do something for the first time, it does have at least some creativity of like, okay, I think it's something that's been bad in recent Big Brother is they have like a theme and then they go away from it immediately. But
Mhm.
this one did have it's like we're back in high school and it's the popular people versus the nerds versus the athletes
And then the
and then the
offbeats.
offbeats.
I
And it
was
was
like, that's just a category.
yeah, you're gonna love those offbeats or whatever. I guess putting up Big Brother 11 real quick is a smart idea. I think one of the funniest things about this is the first time I saw some actual growth for me of like somebody I'm cheering midway through becomes somebody that we absolutely hate because I love him or hate him, when we're talking about Jeff Schroeder of like 15 years later, it is kind of like, well, I think he probably doesn't want to talk to gay people longer than 10 minutes, or we can give him the benefit of the doubt. Come on to the special. No, just kidding. We don't need to talk to Jeff Schroeder, but like he did say something very negative about gay people while he was in the house. And that
Nice.
was a moment where you're like, I don't even remember if that was the season or not. So it's all coming blending together. But like he was so funny in the original couple weeks, and the athletes were trying to get rid of Jeff.
Mhm.
They didn't get along with him. He's the underdog. He only really talks to Jordan. They're the underdog now. And as soon as Ronnie is trying to play the Dr. Will game, but Ronnie looks like Ronnie does. And Ronnie is a nerd that like people are gonna go, whatever, dude. Like you're insane. I've had some of this in my head for years, I guess. But like whenever Jeff points at Ronnie's cat in the picture of his HOH and be like, we can't trust you. Is that cat even yours? And it's something where you're like, oh my gosh. Okay, Dumbledore Moments 13. Thank you, David. You're our official fact checker. We will send you $20 at the end of the year. It is something where
Blake will send you 20.
we'll each send $400 to you. So it's something where
No,
like,
it's on Phil's tab.
okay. So maybe we liked Jeff the whole time. I'm not trying to make shit up. I'm trying to remember what happened, but like I remember him getting into a fight with Russell early on, and I didn't like Russell, but then I came back around on Russell's side. And I think when you're watching a season of Survivor, because it's not live and because it's edited and because we know the answer already, you kind of find your favorite people in Survivor and stick with them. And yes, there's Janelle's, and yes, there's Dan's and Dr. Will's that you won't flop from. But one thing I think is very dynamic about watching Big Brother is your favorite person can go home in like 2 days because
Mhm.
it's not, we don't know how to edit this show. If you're a big Swaggy fan and he goes home season 2, I'm not a big Swaggy fan. If he goes in week 2, you're kind of like, oh crap. So I think I liked watching Jeff early on, but then it was kind of like when he does go home, I was like, "Let's go." I remember that. I don't remember what the catalyst was, and now I'm pretending like it was the Big Brother 13 moment that everyone knows about. But Jordan was so much cooler when she was by herself, and Jordan has one of those moments where, well, she can't win an HOH, so she can't win the game. So we'll just drag her to the final 3. And then she wins like a miraculous challenge to save herself one time. I can't remember. I'm literally going to look that up so I don't say the wrong one. Because I just remember being super impressed by that. Um, yeah, she won final HOH,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, she won final HOH. And
Mhm.
that was like a moment where it's like, both of the people against her, Natalie and Kevin, were probably not overdogs forever, but it was like they never saw that coming. And there's competitions like this, like in Big Brother 20, the final 4 HOH, like you never think that person wins and then they win. Like I think that's the unpredictability, because like maybe we had that in the latest season of Survivor where Ben wins the final 5 challenge or final 4 challenge, but he doesn't have power like you have in Big
Mhm.
Brother to like make his stuff. Well, maybe there's even more power. That's a good discussion for 2 weeks. I'm rambling right now, but what I really liked about Big Brother 11, like Chima is doing crazy, not crazy, but like she is doing stuff where she is mad. Everyone is pissed. Jesse gets coup d'etat. Chima's thing gets complete. HOH gets completely ruined. We're crying about this. We are so angry beyond belief that I've ever seen on the show. She throws that mic into the hot tub. And I think we've seen some like moments like this from other people in the past where like, oh gosh, we'll see them in a couple days. They'll get their way and like we'll figure it out. And her getting pulled immediately, like come into this room, you're gone for destroying mics, was just like a wait,
Felicia
what?
would have been out of here if that was
Yeah.
the case.
Um he evicted Russell on his HOH. That's why. Okay, I like that. That's probably a good reason. Justice for Chima. If Chima could come back, she was just on the Dateline thing talking about how crazy her life is. Again, look her up if you want to know what that means. But like, it's something where all of this feels so raw. And
Mhm.
I don't think there's a lot of raw moments in recent Big Brother seasons because you do feel the social media presence of I can't really say what I want to say, and like Jordan going up and bumping Russell in the backyard fight. I think one thing that I really enjoyed was they eliminated the last place person immediately for being racist of like get this
Mhm.
guy out of here, and we've gotten rid of like I don't think you can shy away from the racism that goes on the show because it's like these are people that are from America and maybe in this part of the country you can talk to people like this, but you're not going to be talking like this to people from this other part of the country
Mhm.
like this. And we are going to tell you, say that one more time, or like Chima gets and her first, it's literally Chima versus Braden for the first vote out. And like, if they had voted out Chima, and that would have been one of the biggest disgraces of Big Brother. And so her using her "please don't evict me" speech on just shutting down Braden and racism that time was pretty cool to see. No comments about future seasons, but it is kind of like all of that felt really raw and emotional. And that summer, I had a lot of time to watch, so that was like I love the back and forth and people going when they shouldn't. I haven't even mentioned Laura or Casey. I think they're both pretty good. Um, Lydia was crazy. Kevin is a dynamic gay player, which we hadn't seen for a couple seasons at that point, because I think the gay people kept getting eliminated literally pre-merge for like four times in a row, or they were despicable people, or both,
Or Bunky.
or Bunky. Fall of Ronnie is the highlight of that, though. Of goes from HOH to immediately evicted. Get the fuck out.
I this was not my favorite season that I like brushed up on before coming on
Right.
here, but it was interesting to have like this returning player aspect, but it was only for one side. Like it didn't it was just one team is now up a number and I'm like this is wrong. And then they were automatically made HOH because their team put in all the work. I'm like, why is Jesse getting all of this power when he's done nothing but be a player before?
And I think that was a pretty interesting dynamic of we Jesse and Russell and Natalie want to get rid of Jeff, but
Mhm.
anytime they win power, he is safe no matter what. And I think there's at least one time where they're like, "We won," and then like, "Oh crap, we can't get rid of him," and like that all that kind of strategy had never been on the show before. So that was at least a cool twist that made sense for pre-merge, or not pre-merge, pre-jury.
And then my first introduction to Kevin was this most recent All Stars. And after watching this, I was like, and now I understand why Kevin was on that All Stars because
Right.
he was like running this season and gets cut at third, but like he just didn't back up his game that he previously had.
One of the saddest things ever is I don't think you could, when you do a would you rather and the second choice is watch Big Brother 22 again, there's a lot of, you're gonna get me out doing a lot of crazy stuff before I watch Big Brother 22 again. That could be the probably top 5 worst seasons ever. We're doing best seasons ever. What's your next one?
My next one is season 18, another returning like captain kind of season,
Okay.
but all of them get to enter the house. I am a Nicole Franzel fan, so her returning was great. And then I have come to really appreciate Devon from the her time on the challenge and also a little bit with All Stars. But really she was just like hilarious in confessionals for the challenge. But I thought the roadkill competition was interesting, and like the dynamics between the characters. Big Meech. I think we have
Meech.
we have Polly here, which is another interesting
I
cast.
like the two Pauls is probably one of the funniest stories. Like if you want to win a Pulitzer Prize, if you will, you could like the idea of what everyone thought Polly was going in and what Paul was, and then like she literally goes Paul, and Paul's like me, and you're just like, oh no, Paulie, like I want Polly behind you. Davon does that, and I remember those memes being like, oh poor, and then throughout the whole season it flops of everyone loves Paul more than Polly, and now has it flipped back again or what? And now they're both LGBTIAQ plus, like,
Yeah.
and when they're both straight dudes on the show originally, allegedly, or whatever we want to say, allegedly,
Mhm.
it's something where I'm hijacking your Big Brother 18,
No, it's fine.
but
You
it
probably know
is
more about it than I do.
it is something where Vic, Corey, Nicole, and Paul doing the riffing on Nicole's how small her hometown is probably a top 5 Big Brother like conversation of all time. Like that's a comfort video I watch. So you get equal parts. Like the cast is interesting. You have to get around Frank because he's a big pain in the ass. If you got to send Frank home,
Yeah.
but Frank builds a crazy relationship with Bridget of like,
Mhm.
we're not dating. It's not a showmance. It's just we're the only two people that can't stand these people, kind of, and like who's gonna throw them a bone? Nobody. There's James just stabbing people in the back. What do you think of James?
I hadn't seen his original season. I hadn't
Right.
seen and still haven't seen 17, but he was like interesting with his relationship with Natalie because Natalie kind of does the same thing when she enters shows. She attaches herself to someone who's in like a power position and then kind of just rides their train all the way until she can't anymore. And then James is just like flipping on anything and everyone.
That's the competition. I think we should figure out the competition, the C or whatever of like, but James being like, yeah, I'm gonna stay here, and using that to just completely backstab Davon, I think is
Mhm.
just like, what? Why did you do this? Like, and I
Yeah.
think he goes home at 6 or something. And then we have Elfit Vic comes back twice
Yes.
or whatever. He's gotten 3 competition. Like the fact that he's married to
Yeah.
Nicole now.
Mhm. I
Nicole
mean, Nicole and
Franzel,
Hayden was
Nicole and
from
Hayden,
earlier, and then now she has, like, Nicole and Corey,
Corey.
and then now Nicole and Victor. I mean
Jeez. So as a Nicole Franzel fan, what was her top 17 moments on this season? Just top 2, top 2.
winning, great.
Okay, yeah. And what is the other one when she couldn't open the Gatorade and there's a gif of her trying to open up the Gatorade?
I think what is interesting is her relationship with Corey. I'm pretty sure they started out as like one of those just friends, and then all of a sudden they're kissing. And then I see Corey on like X on the beach, and I'm like, this guy needed to be on TV again. He's like wallpaper.
He's hot though. He's hot. He's hot. This is also the era where I've met a few of these people in person,
Mhm,
and it's very interesting of like, oh, that makes sense. Of like,
mhm.
I think anytime as a viewer when you're like, oh, I don't really get Braun. Like, why? Oh, I don't. But she's not the one I met in person. But like meeting Corey in person, you are kind of
Mhm.
like, this person is very tall and very
Yeah.
attractive. So I
Yes.
will be giving him the benefit of the doubt,
Mhm.
especially if I'm attracted to men. I will be looking the other way. I will be like, yeah, he's a fun dude. Do I want to get rid of Corey? If he's not physically on
He's
the
not
other
doing anything.
side,
Yeah.
yeah, like he's just a fun dude. Like, of course he got Final Four.
Mhm.
even though he wasn't a competition beast, even though he's clearly one of the most athletic people there. It's like we're just letting him be there while we do this. I think what sucks about 19 is it kind of ruins Paul a little bit for 18 thinking back about it.
That's how I watched it, was 19 then 18, because Paul kept referencing, I lost to this little blonde girl, and I'm like, okay. So as 19 was airing, I was watching 16, so I got to know Nicole. Then I watched 18, and I knew Paul and Nicole now, and I'm like, I still don't like Paul.
I
I don't like Josh either.
Oh
So
my
like I
god.
hated that final
Oh my god.
two. So it
Poor
was
Josh.
Big Brother has been a journey for me because I've only had
Nice.
great seasons.
Yeah, you can pick and choose when you're watching 25 years later.
Yeah,
I
right.
think the other thing that was underrated about that season is it's another team one. So I guess you started saying that by this season, but like it's teams and coaches. So we've talked about coaches, we've
Mhm.
talked about teams. Now you blend them together. This this is 18. I was about to say not 17. So that was another thing of like if your person won, then you're fine. And I think
Mhm.
that led to like, oh, we want to get Tiffany out, but somebody has to win a certain time. And I
Yeah.
think that can be cool strategically, but it could also stifle like we're just gonna build a big alliance of like eight and vote out, get rid of Bronte, get rid of Tiffany, get rid of Frank, get rid of Bridget. I That season's good though, and Big Meech is
For
somebody where
Glenn.
you're like, Big Meech, how did you get on TV? But I
I
love like
fucking love Big Me.
Big Meech is like the girl that's at your bachelorette party or whatever, and you're like, I don't really know her, but like,
She's bringing
she's
the emotion with her.
she's
She's like gonna
dope.
cry at everything, and
Yeah,
like her BB comic of like her just crying all over the
poor Big Meech.
I mean, then
Oh,
you also have Polly and Zakia, and then Zakia hates Polly afterwards.
dude, Zakia making jury is like a lost volume of brain matter for me. Of like that. Obviously, you get those like look from Dave on in the jury house of like because I think that was a shocker. There's shockers in Big Brother, but whenever Paulie wins a veto, the person he's sleeping in the same bed with and playing kissy face with is up on the block. I think he lost the game by doing that too. It's just such a bonehead move. And then you're like, why would you not save that? Like, what's the point of doing all this? Like, do I even feel left out as a viewer at home of why wouldn't they save? It's just, I think that's another fun thing too of like on Survivor, we're super hungry, but in Big Brother, you can't get away from these people. You're
Mhm.
trapped in a house. And so, like, am I going to make a bad decision today? Well, I would if somebody who's trying to win money on me told me 5 times a day and I couldn't get it. Like, on my way from my bedroom to the backyard, they're going to talk to me 5 times. I would make bad decisions too. Like, it's just not that I'm
And
trying to be on Polly's side because he's crazy,
I
but whatever.
mean, in in Big Brother 18 also, because it relates to Polly, this is one of the best hide and go vetoes, I think, because he hides it like inside the table and wins that
True.
comp and one of his veto wins. But I think the way that they destroy the house, and I don't know, I think that's one of the best. It's has always stuck in my head, that hide and go veto.
Speaking of hide and go veto, the best hide and go veto is Big Brother 20,
Yes.
which is on
Mhm.
my top three. Big
Same. I have it at 2.
Big Brother 20 is, I think, the best new age season for me. This is the height of like I'm watching this because of where I work. I'm seeing some of these people as they get eliminated. I talk to some of these people like as not before they went in, but kind of afterwards of like,
Mhm.
oh hey, how's it going? Not that matters to anybody at home. But Big Brother 20 was Big Brother 6, but for a new age of we have level 6 and we have the
Faute.
Faute. Faute is a
Or
crazy,
level 6,
yeah.
whichever.
And so I think what's interesting about this is it has everything you would want of Faute is winning more HOHs somehow. Because level 6 has all the more athletic people, allegedly, besides Swaggy, besides Bailey, maybe. And Swaggy and Bailey are kind of in the middle of somebody wanted them to be on level 6, but then they didn't. We have Sam, who's crazy. Like, Sam is such an old school player who's doing weird stuff in the background the whole time. She's a robot to start the game. That's
That
a
was
fun,
so funny. Summer
like,
of Steve? Come
Summer
on
of Steve goes home. Steve is somebody I tried to put on another show. So I was like, okay, this is Steve's show. He's gonna nail this. Then he's like, immediately goes home after being a cop. Then
I
he
was
lost like
rooting for
60
him.
pounds from home that summer. I think what am I actually saying here? It's two sides. One side is winning more, but they're playing very bad. And it was amazing because now the good players on level 6 can manipulate them, figure all this stuff. We said Faute and we said level 6. I don't know if you count JC on level 6 or not. I don't really. I think
He's just there.
he's just nailing, like, he's probably one of the best social players of all time, which is like a crazy statement to say because there's all the layers of this of like, can you understand what he's saying? Is he being is he on your side or not? There's all that stuff in going home. Like, Fessy putting up his own alliance member is an amazing moment, just like how we did way back when. But I think what's super fun about the back and forth is every time someone goes home, it's like devastating for one side of like, how are we ever going to come back? And then they win HOH and they're like, okay, we're back. Like, don't worry.
One
I
of the
think
best blunders is Fessy eliminating, what was it, Scotty on
Scotty,
his HOH, and Haley's like, "You're an idiot. Scotty was with us, and now we really don't have the numbers." Like,
but
what is wrong with you?
but I think what's funny is Scotty is just such a crappy alliance member anyway that you're like, well, whatever. He sucked. Like, what? Who cares? I think the what's her face? Not
Caitlin?
Angela. No, Rachel.
Oh,
Rachel
Rachel.
going, what is wrong with Angela? Because she just said the meanest possible goodbye message. I think
Mhm.
on my daughter's birthday is clearly the best tagline that's ever happened.
Yeah.
I think what's cool though too is there was a few twists on this season,
Mhm.
and like, twists on Big Brother sometimes ruin everything.
Yeah.
And twists on Big Brother sometimes get in the way of gameplay, which is the same thing, just said two different times. When it came to the cloud buying stuff from the App Store, like, oh, all that really did was give Caitlyn a chance to come back in the game. And Caitlyn, bless her heart, I think Caitlyn is pound for pound the best pre-merger of all time, of all this shit
Just for
she's
that puzzle moment.
like
Just for
that.
that moment.
Her HOH that gets out Swaggy for some reason, her like pushing the plunger down and it like goes into the perfect spot. Then she's like, I am in love with these guy. I'm in love with that guy. I have my loved one at home though. Pre-jury, not pre-merge. You're so right. I'm on Survivor time right now. Whenever Julie starts doing the actual like, it's time for Big Brother, I'll get into that mindset. But Caitlyn is amazing. She is somebody that I am so freaking surprised they never had her back.
Well,
I
they
think
did in the next
no,
for a
just
challenge.
just the hacker twist is the only thing that can mess with Tyler. I think what sucks though is Tyler loses this season, and you're like, how did he lose this season? And I think there is an argument of, well, Casey played a great game too, And maybe that's what people would argue and be like, she wasn't the strategy person. So if there are blood on their hands and we don't really like this person, it would be Tyler.
Mhm.
Um, Tyler losing, I think, is more egregious than Paul losing either time, in my opinion, just because I Tyler, and now we've seen him on another season on 22. Now he has kind of a podcast where you're like, I don't know if we need this, Tyler. There's nothing that interesting going on here. Shout outs to Tyler. But I like Tyler. I wish he had more of a killer instinct.
Mm.
And I think that's something when you look back at the season of why was Angela and Tyler good? Of Tyler has the brains and he has the strategy, but he doesn't want to eliminate people because it hurts his heart at the end of the day. Angela doesn't give a shit. Angela would get rid of her own people, and she kind of encourages Tyler to like, oh, you were one step ahead, we were two steps ahead. That's a
Mhm.
dumb line. I'm not going to pretend that's one of the best lines in Big Brother history. Screw that. But like Tyler losing Angela's cutthroatness at Final Four and not having that in the back of his head of like, here's what you're going to do. If he had fully come out and owned his owning of the season and how much better he played strategically than Casey, like I
Mhm.
just remember watching that final eviction or whatever we call them,
Final
the
Tribal Council.
final tribal council, but for Big Brother. We're really good specialists here. It's just something where it's like he did not go for the throat on Casey because they're really good friends, and I wish he had, because I
Mhm.
think Tyler winning the Big Brother season. Yes, we have our first lesbian winner, our first Asian winner. Just kidding, June song. But like our first lesbian Asian winner, um, is something where you're like, damn, Tyler crushed that season, and him losing there is a thing where you're. I think most people after watching it happen, because Steve won 17, so they weren't saying this for 17, but 18, 19, and 20 all in a row had somebody lose, where most of the fan base would say they were the more strategic player
Mhm.
or had more blood on their hands. And I think that became a think piece that everyone was posting on
Mhm.
Twitter or wherever you could watch, on Reddit or whatever, of our Big Brother jury is just so bitter now that you cannot play a strong game and win in the end. But
Yeah.
overall, we didn't even say Swaggy and Bailey. Swaggy and Bailey were crazy. And so
She bit her
on the
tongue in
nose,
rage.
that was amazing. That fight is probably the best fight in literally, and we know
Mhm.
now why there was so much rage, and it's crazy the
Yeah.
reason why. I think Swaggy is somebody that whether you love him or hate him, it is a 100. Like I 100 love Swaggy or I 100 love hate him,
Mhm.
and it was fun to see him win or lose. Got to watch the show. Um, but that season banger of
Yeah.
there's no real people on that season that like suck or don't like the
Mhm.
fact that Sam put people up for eviction because she's like, you guys are harlots is like crazy. And
Yeah.
like, oh my god, why is that happening?
I at the, Final Tribal Council was rooting for Tyler because I feel like Tyler played a game that I feel like I would play in Big Brother. Like he was dominant, but like under the radar enough where people weren't really going for him, kind of in the middle of a lot of things, had other allies that weren't just level 6. But then the representation of Casey winning also made me happy too. And I was like, okay, we have an out lesbian winner. Like that's also amazing too. So like I just think the characters on this plus the winner, at least for me, like really escalated this season.
Preach. Preach. I mean, I think Big Brother 20 is another season too where normally when you can say this, I know people were saying it for Survivor 46 of like bring the whole cast back, put them in the exact same scenario. They have different relationships now than they did then, and like just watch them play again. I would do that in a heartbeat for Big Brother 20. And
Mhm.
I'm sure there's one person I'm forgetting where you're like, oh, maybe I wouldn't put that 20th person or 16th person in. I think we mentioned everybody there. All right, you have how many left? You have 2 left or
1.
1?
I only have
Okay.
1.
Okay, do your last one real quick.
My top favorite season, I was going back and forth between 20 and 16. 16 is my favorite season. It it just the Battle of the Block is a really interesting twist, that like you win HOH, but it exposes some allies because then they could come off of the block at the same time. And I mean, you have Beast Mode Cowboy, you have Amber B, you have Frankie Grande. I mean,
Oh, is that Ariana Grande's brother?
and then Derek and Cody, Nicole's first season, like it just has a lot of great characters and other players that like I have recognized from other shows as well. So I really liked Big Brother 16. Did I need Caleb on Survivor? Not necessarily, but he was there.
So, Big Brother 16, I feel like this is our because we see somebody going like this in the chat like, ooh. I think Big Brother 16 is the most polarizing season in a non crazy like there was racism or there
Mhm.
was
Okay, I was like,
sexism or something.
I was
Like
like,
it's
I'm not very
polarizing.
hip.
It's polarizing in the idea of some people see it as wow, this is one of the best games ever played by Derek. Some people
Mhm.
see it as, but that made it extremely not fun to watch. Like,
Mm.
I think there's some people on that season where it's like, oh, it's fun to watch Nicole, but Nicole had better seasons.
Mhm.
Um, like, because Nicole was the only person who wasn't involved in the hardcore alliance with Derek, and she maybe gets 7. Like, watching Donnie was fun, but he ends up failing. I think we have our first taste at like are Zach and Frankie like holding hands? Like, what's going on with this? That was very
Maybe.
interesting. And like, and Zach is somebody who why have they never brought him back? I think you can
I
do some
love
googling and
Zach,
figure out why. But it is
or
something.
loved watching Zach.
Yeah, bring Zach back. Even to this day would be fun to like. Where has he been for 7 years, 8 years, 9 years at this point? 6 years. No, 16 is way longer. Holy crap! 10-year anniversary of the season. Are you kidding me?
That's
That's how
insane.
long ago it was? 2014? Holy crap, I didn't realize that. Um, but equal parts you're saying you like it.
Mhm.
That
I
makes
like
sense.
watching a dominant game. I mean, this is
True.
what Dave I liked watching a dominant game player, like how they maneuver the game, how they manipulate the people, how they get to their win. Like I'm not saying Redemption Island is a good season, but when I do like a full rewatch, I watched it in January. It was really interesting watching Rob, this clear threat, like work his way to winning Redemption Island. Granted, I mean there were a bunch of buffoons on the season too, but but it was really I liked watching the dominance of Derek, the dominance of Cody in that season.
And I think that's something that's super interesting is like Derek was so much beyond like I think that is the first time as much as I'm saying about the idea of Big Brother how it's very cool of as you're watching anybody can go the next season. Big Brother 20, I think by week 3, not episode, week 3, everyone was like Derek is going to win this season. It was all
Mhm.
over Reddit, all over Survivor Sucks or whatever one you're doing at that part in your life 10 years ago. And is Reddit 10 years ago? Holy crap, maybe not. But like it was like everyone believes Derek is going to win. Who can challenge Derek? The only person that can possibly figure it out is Frankie. But he's part of the alliance that it doesn't make sense for him to go. Frankie
Mhm.
wins the initial HOH at Final 5. Everyone's like, "Holy crap, is this it?" is this where the whole thing blows up for Derek, and then it's reset week, and Frankie goes at 5, and
Yeah.
it's like we were waiting for something to blow up Derek's game, and him getting an alley oop from a reset button is just like, oh damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Will Derek ever play again? I think he likes the illusion of he would crush a season when he comes back,
I don't think
more so than putting the work in to go and play again and do it. Um, Derek fans in the chat, I don't know if you're
I don't
there.
think he would I don't think he would play a season. Not that he's scared, but, like, he has this reputation of being so dominant. If he comes back and just absolutely flops, I don't know if he wants to hinder his reputation.
Right, and like that's something where I loved on this last season of the Traders, they literally just take Johnny Bananas out and execute him immediately.
I mean,
It's
I could see
like we
Derek
don't
coming
want to.
on the Traders. Like, that's where I
Oh,
could see Derek returning to. I just don't think he's gonna do Big Brother again. What are your thoughts? Derek is the Kim Spradlin of Big Brother.
Kim Spardlin. He's she is the Derek of Survivor. I feel like it is something where I agree with that wholeheartedly. That is a good one to say because Kim Spradlin beat a B team of Survivor players, in my opinion. And like, there's so many people on Big Brother 16. Whenever if you put the every single Big Brother player and rank them from 1 to 1,000 or
Mhm.
800 or how many there are, 16 times 26 is not that hard, and it's smaller than Survivor. But like, it's like 600 people. I think Joey. Oh, we should do a women's alliance, but I'm gonna tell a dude like, gone. Victoria gets taken to final 3. Victoria couldn't,
Her pink hat.
bro. Like, that was insane. She's cutting up Frankie's hat for no reason, or not Frankie, Zach's hat. Like
It's her hat.
on,
He
it was.
stole her hat.
Oh no. You've seen this way more recently than I have. Let me
No, it was
literally
like 2019. Like,
like
it was
Pow
when
Pow. Like, do
yeah.
you think Pow Pow's a good Big Brother player? Like,
If I don't remember her, no.
so
Like,
okay,
I know I remember her, but, like, I don't remember what she did.
let's do it half and half here. The 7 pre-jury people
Mhm.
are legitimately Joey, who said Girls Alliance to a dude, goes home immediately first. Pow Pow, everyone got rid of her. Devin,
Oh my god.
everyone was like, get out of here. Brittany, the mom,
Mhm.
who
She
was
tried.
like,
She
she did
tried.
her best. Amber wasn't really doing crazy stuff there, to be honest.
But Caleb was so aggressively flirting with her, it was kinda creepy.
I mean, yeah. Then Jocasta and Hayden. like these are not world beater. Like, yes,
Okay,
maybe you could do that with every pre-jury because
so
they don't get, but like, oh, he
Joey
ran circles around his cast. It's like, well,
yeah. I was rooting for Joey, like, off the jump, and then she started talking, and then I was like, "Oh, this is not great because now she's starting a women's alliance. It's not doing very well." Um, and then she gets picked for Team America, which that's also a twist in
oh,
the
don't forget
season.
Team
And
America.
then she gets voted out first, and they're like, "Ah, we have to find someone new for Team America." And then we get Derek, Frankie, and Donnie, a very like eclectic 3 to be Team America. And then they have to do these tasks to win money.
My favorite though was like whenever it was time. Wait, is this real? Jocasta and Hayden were on the jury. That's I had to look that one up. I was not doing that. That was not doing in my life at all. Um God. Sorry, you have to say what you just said a second ago. That blew my mind.
I don't even know what I said a second ago. But
David's
oh,
trying to fight for Derek's Derek's.
Well, I will say I did appreciate Jacosta's bow ties because I
Oh,
also wear bow ties. So I
well,
was
you should
like,
go on Big Brother.
yeah, right. I mean, my lookalike was already on last season, so Izzy. I have Evie on Survivor and I have Izzy on Big Brother.
Oh my god. Evie, Izzy, and now you could just figure
They,
out a fake name to go by, then be the third one. Go on the Summit season 2 or
yeah,
whatever.
right.
Are you guys gonna do a Summit podcast? Like and subscribe if you want a Summit podcast.
Phil and Will be podcasting about me on Deal or No Deal Island.
Oh, I like that. But that's Big Brother 16. It is
Yeah.
something where I think it was the new era of we want to wash away Big Brother 15. Everyone does get that taste out of our mouth. And so we're going to go as wholesome as possible, as like there's no fuck you bitch on this one. That's where we're going to bleep out right there. But it was like, but then it was too like, even right after that, it was like Christine's a nudist. And then she was like not nudist ever in this show. So it was like, what the hell was that?
Well,
Like,
then she was also flirting with Cody, but also had a husband, but
yeah.
her boyfriend or
Wouldn't
whatever.
you though? Wouldn't
And
you?
well, no, but we and like she was insisting that it wasn't like anything, but I don't know. That was also a
Yeah.
storyline throughout
Tell it to the
16.
judge. Okay, so that's Big Brother 16.
What do
I
you
think
have?
the other layer about it, of maybe there's been some negativity about, of that's the season they show everybody in sequester to get them to watch about the game. So maybe it's influenced a lot of strategy after it aired, of like people see Derek and people
Yeah.
see the blueprint and be like, this is what I need to do. Is there any direct seasons that copied it exactly and referenced it? Who knows? But I remember that being
I
is
feel
that
like
an old
it's
wives' tale or not?
I wanna be like Dan, I wanna be like Derek, I wanna be like Janelle, like, is the same as I wanna be like Rob, I wanna be like Parvati, I wanna be like Sari, like, it's whoever wants to copy, like, a Derek game or something like that, it's the same shit as we get over on Survivor of, I wanna be a Sari, I wanna be a Parvati.
Nobody goes, I want to be the next Russell.
Nobody goes and says
Nobody says that. Okay, so we're not here for another 6 hours. My final one, I think I talked about all the rest of these. I did. My final one. I'm a nostalgia bias through and through. I think I said forever that Marquesas is my favorite Survivor season, but as we're watching more Survivor seasons, it is maybe like, okay, I like Marquesas a lot, but maybe not my favorite ever. But my favorite big season is the one I first saw ever. It blew my mind. What's going on here is Big Brother 3. Daniel Reyes is the first time I watched a show where I was like, holy shit, I am all in on somebody. Her and Jason were the coolest thing ever. I think part of it is at that point, it's 2002. What's crazy is that doesn't, those numbers never make sense to me. Because in 2002, I was in 6th grade. And so that means Big Brother 6, 2000. No. Big Brother, I got to do this real quick. Big Brother 2 was in 2001. So Big Brother 3 was 2002. So add 3 years. So Big Brother 6 was 2005. And that's like, okay, you're a 9th grader. And then that means 8 is when it gets messed up because there's an extra year in there. So Big Brother 8 was the summer. Big Brother 10 is
anyone in
so
the
like,
chat help Blake out.
no, it's just a thing where you're like, okay, Big Brother 3, am I really that young? And it's like, I was watching it as like it can't be 6th grader. I can't be. No, 7th grader. Okay. So it was interesting of like, the peanut butter and jelly of like they're wearing bikinis with peanut butter and jelly on them. That was
Mhm.
crazy. Lisa is dynamic. I think she gets shit on a lot for being like not Parvati or not somebody who's like the most bodacious person of all time. Like she is a phenomenal like part of the season. She doesn't bring back her showmance when given an opportunity to. You have Marcellus, you have Amy, you have Lori who's crazy. You have like Roddy is super hot. The rat looking guy is super rat, like the most rat guy of all time. I think his name is Josh. Everyone's like, screw that guy, but they don't get him out of there. Chiara was like an insane person of like Chiara does not exist in Odessa, Texas when I'm watching this. And I think that's an allure of these are part of my life where I hadn't gotten out of my bubble. I hadn't
Mhm.
gone to college yet. I haven't met a bunch of new people. I don't know other people can speak language. They can eat other food. They can do other stuff. All I know is Odessa, Texas. I don't know gay. I don't know all this other stuff. And the first window into this was Survivor 4, Big Brother 3. And it's something where like watching, oh, Danielle can be best friends with Jason, even though he's kind of religious and like um understated, but like he's cool on doing that. And he hasn't had a woman touch him at all. And who's gonna masseuse him? And it's like, oh, don't worry, it's a water massager. Like all of these memories are burned into my brain where it's
Mhm.
like I don't even know, this is more of like a nostalgia thing than a competition thing, but like I even though that happens and like Danielle is the figurehead
Yeah.
and I don't think it was rigged for her at all, but it was something of like she from beginning to end, if you watch back on those here's what happened on Big Brother 3, they are putting all the eggs in her basket because of how good she is.
Mhm.
She is one of the main narrators. Everything goes through her. She literally counts down how many people are left after every eviction. And when you watch that, it is some of the most god cool shit. Like oh my god, she is amazing. Of could you imagine somebody doing that now? No, because they need to make sure, like, oh, like Derek couldn't even do that because maybe Derek goes home because there's twists. But like that being a thing that she was doing was super cool. She's doing sign language to talk to Lisa during some stuff
Mhm.
was a thing that I think, how has that not happened 15 more times? Maybe
Right.
there's a time someone spoke Spanish. We just watched Amazon for the thing we do on Patreon, and some people were speaking Chinese together on that season. It was like, okay, this is cool. They could have
Yeah.
done a little bit of alliance through that. But I don't think there's a cooler person to cheer for the whole time than Danielle Reyes. And maybe you're
Mhm.
seeing her get on the reindeer games, and
You
then you're
wanna know my
seeing
first introduction to Danielle? Reindeer
Yeah.
games.
And like I know I just talked about Big Brother 7 and didn't mention Danielle Reyes, but
Mhm.
I think I did that subconsciously to go right now of that's who I was cheering for on that season, even over my What Up Kaser, even over my Chilltown. It was super interesting to see Danielle come into that season, be a very strong player. She doesn't have her allies. She doesn't have 5 people from her season. She's making it to the final 6 in that All-Star season. I think when somebody says the idea of, oh, this is the best cast All-Star season, it's a large part because she's on it as well. I don't know if we're gonna call her the Sandra because she's never won twice, but like she hasn't won once. Let me just say that real quick. I was about to say she's my favorite Big Brother winner ever. I She is, even though she hasn't won. Um, I love Danielle Reyes. I think it was very interesting to see how personable, lovable,
Mhm.
like she's doing the devil horns where you're like, holy crap. The most important thing about this has already been said in chat of she's the reason why the jury's sequestered. We can't watch people. We can't let people watch the edited show. It's I think the reason why you can tell anybody of why do they sequester people for Survivor? Why don't they let them watch the show and then vote afterward? It's awful.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine not being able to make your own opinion, but you make your opinion through the editors and production of CBS of what they want to do.
I
And
mean,
like,
imagine season 7 if they had been able to watch everything. Boogie's literally saying in confessional, like, she's gonna hate me because I'm using her this entire game.
I mean, it'd be insane. And like, I think what's crazy is I love Danielle for her being so raw and real. And I think there was the idea of she thought they wouldn't see it. So
Mhm.
maybe that's why it was so raw and real. And like, I think that's another thing where you're like, holy crap, like Dr. Will winning season 2 where everyone could watch him being asked the whole time is crazy. But like Danielle Reyes losing that and all the aftermath of that is something where you're like, I want to live in the alternate world where like Jason wins and takes her instead and votes out Lisa, and like
Mhm.
Danielle wins because everybody's like, she's so good at the game. Gonna root for her on the Traitors. Spoiler alert, she's on
Mhm.
the Traitors. Um, Somebody's saying it's a reason why he won Big Brother 2. That makes sense. But like I think it's an era of life and TV where people were not like, stab me in the back, I don't care, I've seen it on TV a whole bunch. This is I think that's what I love about reality TV is you can get some raw emotion that you
Mhm.
can't get in Paramount Plus's first season of Halo, or like the second season of Seinfeld on NBC from 15 years ago. Like there's raw emotion, there's anger, there's I can't believe you did this. There's lust in the showmances.
Mhm.
There's somebody calling Chiara Chihora is an insane thing to see, as like how old I was that time of you can make people's nicknames into this other thing. And it's just something where that's what I love about reality TV is you can get into their mind, see how angry they are, see how over the top they can be, and it's like celebrated and relished instead of being like sit in the corner and be quiet. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to see your outbursts. Nobody wants like stop being slutty. Like that's a thing where maybe you've heard in West Texas of people are like you got to be a certain way or something, or don't be gay or don't be whatever. I think reality TV was a window for me to see different kinds of people and do all this, and that's a layer that can't be forgotten about for some of my favorite seasons on the show. And
And
Marcellus, we didn't
yes,
mention Marcellus or
Marcellus.
Amy. Like
Um, Marcellus with his, best veto of, best
Mar
use of the veto.
that's not even my favorite part. Like, oh, okay, yeah, we changed the gameplay a bit because now there's vetoes. The veto only gets used a couple times. I think that's worth mentioning maybe though, of like the first week of that, watching it, not understanding like why did Marcellus get put up in the first HOH? It was by Lisa. Was it Marcellus is super annoying, or is it maybe Marcellus? Is it? It's not racially motivated, but there could be some like because he's black, we don't have that much in common.
Mm.
And in the first HOH, we're putting up stuff, putting up people that I don't have that much in common with. And I remember watching that and being like, damn, I wish Marcellus had a second chance here. And then Jerry wins veto, uses it on Marcellus in the first episode or first week. And it's like Marcellus is going to get a second chance here.
Mhm.
And Marcellus becomes all of those people's like favorite person to talk to, confidant,
Mhm.
whatever. Marcellus's moment where he makes the gnome and like this is my gnome, he's my favorite gnome, like names the gnome. I remember just dying laughing at that. We were not even getting to the hit over the head with the thing. I think Amy's another person where you're like, I have never met someone like Amy. The fact that she got to be on our screens for 3 months one summer is amazing. Of like, this is what I'm assuming she's from New Orleans. I hope I'm not screwing that up 15 years later, 23 years later. Let me click my button here. Where is
Um,
Amy from? I actually care about this. I'm
where
just
is
going of like this is what I fell in love with
Mhm.
this shit with. she's from Memphis, Tennessee. We screwed it up or whatever. So we've got a couple people from California, Alabama, Tennessee, Illinois, New Jersey. Where's Chiara from? Chiara's from New York. A couple. Josh is from New York. Connecticut. Who cares? Like Showgirl from Las Vegas, Nevada, basically, and Wisconsin. Like, I think this is what I fell in love with reality TV with. Then I moved to Los Angeles to work in reality TV. Mm-hmm. I think this is something where we're getting really deep, but it's like, I don't have brothers and sisters. My family is my family, but like craving some of this stuff, or like just the mystery of like, I could go on a show and have a Janelle like run and have America love me is something that would be a really cool thing that like you put yourself in as a kid. Like, this is why I fell in love with Big Brother, and this is what I'm hoping to see every time I watch. Maybe when we turn on Big Brother 26, of are there 10-year-olds that are watching this like I watched Big Brother 3? And I think maybe that's whenever you're like, why is Blake having these opinions that he does? I think instead of me telling you what my 5 favorite seasons was, this was like a backdrop of my fandom of the show. Tricked you.
Well, you get a good background of both of our fandoms. Mine is just kind of here, and then Blake's is deep rooted. So,
but I think that'll be a fun thing to pay attention to. Of not that you're going to be more easily impressed, but I think there's a, and this is not where I thought I was going to go to, but like, I think there's the idea of people. Why do people have kids? Well, they've pretty much seen a lot of life when they're 35, but seeing life through their kids' eyes opens up a whole new world, and like, it's super fun. Like, not saying you're my kid, but like, if you're super impressed by a twist that I'm kind of like, oh, who cares about? I shouldn't yuck your yum next month. It'll be like, oh no, I get this because I'm seeing it through my child's eyes. This is an analogy that's falling apart slightly, but I do think there's a lot of cynicism and cynical, and maybe this is what I can work on this personally, of try not to be the loudest pain in the ass on the internet saying that Big Brother has nowhere where they're going. I'm not saying give them the benefit of the doubt, because it's a really, like, they could be doing a lot better, but I'm not going to say that until I at least watch the episodes this time around. I'm not going to go, well, there's no point because they're never going to innovate.
Yeah, exactly. So we are excited to get to this season, but we will have more preseason content coming your way. Blake, do you have anything else you want to say before we end?
I don't think anybody wants to hear me talk.
All right, we will catch you next week with another Big Brother preseason episode. Goodbye.